It's been another exciting week for uranium stocks and uranium. The price of uranium is still up. The overall market has been down, but uranium stocks have been doing really well. A couple have hit 52-week highs and 11-year highs, but we're still not at that peak that we saw last year with 52-week highs for all uranium stocks. So there's still big upside. Uranium price is still going up. We're going to talk about a lot of the big news this week. U.S. uranium support from the government, as well as enrichment, HALEU, and some big things that are on my radar. We're going to talk about that. Please hit that like and subscribe button below, and we'll just jump right into it. Hopefully you have a good weekend, Easter weekend, if you celebrate that. So to cover what I've been really covering the last, month or so, you guys have been following along. I'm now up 61.5% in the U.S. Stock Investing Championship. And, I've been day trading and swing trading very aggressive. I haven't really been doing this aggressive since pretty much 2020. So this is really nice. Should be first overall as per, like I said, February numbers. And if you guys want access to what I'm trading, how I'm getting these big trades, and it is uranium stocks, it is my Discord. There's a link in the description below. And that's where a lot of great traders, investors are, and we've been doing phenomenal in that. So if you guys want to check that out and you want to tag along and see how I'm, got to first place in the overall markets for the Stock Investing Championship, it's in the link in the description below. But we'll go ahead and start our uranium talk. But the overall market, I want to show you what the visual was. So the overall market, the NASDAQ was down 2.28%. And this is majority of the stocks out there, the biggest ones, were down a good percentage. So it brought everything down. Now, uranium stocks were positive. The big ones, for a little bit throughout the day, we hit $11 in Energy Fuels. That's been one that it's been on my radar. UEC as well. It's just been a phenomenal run recently. I think we're in a good place for uranium. So I really like Energy Fuels. They actually got 2 upgrades for I think it was around $12 to $13 average for both of those on Thursday yesterday. And the stock's been trading great. It's breaking out here. It broke out. It's still not at the 52-week high yet. It almost touched it, but we broke out of this ascending triangle. Majority of the uranium stocks are doing this. So Cameco, we're still here at almost this Fukushima high. Same thing with uranium. We're going to break out of that, I think. And UEC as well. A lot of these stocks, like I said, are doing just massive runs, yet they're still not at the 52-week high we saw last year. What has been on my radar, I've been trading it, I bought this at $1, was Energy Fuels. They got that double upgrade from 2 different companies. I think Red Cloud was one of them. And they are really pushing REE as well. It's not just uranium. So this is really good for a uranium producer with uranium prices going high. But they've got a lot of other things, rare earths, vanadium, medical isotopes, and recycling. Now, on this chart, you'll notice UEC, they actually do not have debt anymore. So that's the only thing wrong on this chart. But Energy Fuels has been a big one. Like I said, it's getting close to that 52-week high. And I think it's really going to break out with a lot of these catalysts coming up. The charts are looking really good. If we look at all the uranium stocks here, as I said last video, we're inching closer for a lot of these to the 52-week high. Cameco broke out of it. Other than that, that Cameco is our leader. Other than that, we're still down a good amount from those 52-week highs. We had a lot more volume coming in at that time. And I think, once we have these catalysts hit, uranium even breaks into the 70s, we're going to see a lot of these big uranium stocks break into 52-week highs. And of course, the smaller market cap ones are going to catch up as well. But I think we're in a good place. Since March of 2020, we see thousands of percent gains for a lot of these, the top 50 uranium stocks. So we're in a positive place. Now, one great thing for what I was talking about earlier, HALEU, LEU, Centrus Energy. So the U.S. government, this is a bill by Senator Brazos 4066 to the Senate. So this is going to be $150 million that they want to put out to help. This is for HALEU, and this will be every year. And up to $200 million. This is actually separate from what Senator Manchin is putting through, and that's billions for this, overall reactor, this whole sector pretty much, the small modular reactors and the fuel for the SMRs, the HALEU. This is $200 million also for the demo that they're having for this HALEU. It's going to take a lot of money, but this is great to see this legislation being pushed through. And to piggyback on that, the Pentagon today said that they're looking to build nuclear microreactors to power their bases, that are far away from infrastructure. And one big thing about this is The DoD uses 30 terawatt hours of electricity per year and 10 million gallons of fuel per day. So this is pretty big because they're going to need this HALEU. At high SA low enriched uranium is something that only the Department of Energy and Centrus Energy does here in the US, very small amounts, and Russia. So that's why that stock has been down, but it is very positive, one big thing. And we've known this for a while. US officials eye fuel supply for advanced nuclear reactors. And, this is really because this is the future. Now, a stock like that, you look at a stock like LEU, and we've seen a recovery somewhat in the last, 5 days. The stock's, very thinly traded. It had a lot of shorts. So it is on my radar. If you look at the financials, I think this company in the future is going to do very well. Okay, so, I think it's got a ways to go, but you can see it is growing with a valuation like this. It's literally $467 million market cap. This company could be a multi-billion dollar market cap company very quickly. And I think that the market's starting to realize this, and we'll see how things go with big government support. And one thing about that, they're looking to be a big supplier to every utility company that's going to have these small modular reactors, the US government. And this market is nothing now, but the way they say, in the next, 10 years, it's going to be massive market. And this company, it's really getting in on the bottom. And, it's gonna probably see some real crazy volatility if the uranium from Russia is banned. But this company really is the only one. These are all the companies, for the US government. I think it's X Energy and BWX Technologies. They're both going to be the ones battling out for the US government for the reactor, this small modular reactor, but they all use HALEU. So who's going to feel it? It's not going to be the DOE. They're going to need, a company like this to really get into production in the next few years. And really, this is ground floor. I think the market's going to realize eventually, this hit $86. I'm not invested in it again yet. I think it's very risky. I think that this thing could drop 50% on the ban. Company does get their enrichment. It's not just, they don't just have deals with Russia only, but they also have deals with, it says Orano. They have these long-term contracts, obviously with Russian 10X, but it's also the French company Orano. So they are somewhat diversified and they have order books out. They did get these specific contracts at the lowest. I think it was back in 2016, 17, and 18. So that is good. They've got a big contract book, but if they do have the Russian ban on enrichment, imports and things of that nature, will the already contracts that they have be subject to that? It's very possible. So a lot of people have sold off. They don't want to be involved in that. They'll probably move their money over to the uranium side, but they're going to need HALEU. We're going to need HALEU. So this company will be a $1 billion company. It's almost guaranteed with government support like that. You saw their financials. The company is going to be around, but are they going to dilute shareholders? They do have cash, good amount of cash. I think that, they really do need to get through this. The SWU price is a lot higher. I think we're well over 70 now. And this just shows that, utilities are coming back. These long-term contracts are coming, and this company is very likely to succeed. Like I said, I invested initially at about $4, and this company is going to be a real big part of the future. And this was something that they actually had in that last slide. And I really do think uranium is going to break $200. And just look at the headlines here. It's really, we're just pushing towards clean nuclear energy, and really this is the only way to get there. In Senator Manchin's, that's the other thing, Senator Manchin's bill is $3.5 billion for the, fuel supply, the overall enrichment supply, because it's going to need a lot of money to get that HALEU going. Some people estimate that it could be $5 to $10 billion. U.S. government's going to really help fork the bill for a lot of that. It's guaranteed, in the future, we're going to need this. So that's one stock that's been on my radar. I'm very bullish uranium, but I do still hold a very large amount of cash, and that keeps growing. As you've seen, 62% this year, and I'm still using that cash. I have not bought any new long-term stocks for my uranium. I still hold those from 2020, but I haven't bought anything new because it is still risky. But as you can see, a lot of these uranium stocks, I think once they start to break out the 52-week high, you're going to start to see a lot of new big money start to come in, especially for these stocks like UEC. You know, they break over $5. But we've had quite the run in the past, you know, couple months. I mean, you look at it. UEC was down here at, you know, $2.30 end of January going into February, and now, you know, we're breaking $6.60 for the high. I'm very surprised with this stock, how much it's ran since and how well the management has actually been getting the word out. A lot of stocks in the market, really, a lot of them, they do well because the management really gets the word out there. A lot of new, you know, investors come in. And this is one. They also got uranium assets, Uranium One assets. So obviously, US producers are big on my radar, and that's what I've been buying, trading. And I think that we're just going to see a big run into the future. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust breaking that, you know, that high $16, but it dropped down. We saw a bunch of selling. That's one thing I wanted to say. I was watching Level 2, I think yesterday, and there were some really big orders going through. Now this does, you know, Sprott is going to be doing their New York Stock Exchange listing. So it is possible a lot of people are starting to sell some of their Sprott Physical Uranium Trust to move into uranium stocks. We got the URNM, they're, you know, Sprott's taken over. They're going to be pushing uranium overall, I think, to a lot of their customers, uranium stocks. Now they're just going to be managing that. So I think it's going to be something good, this miners ETF. I think uranium stocks are now going to see the upside. You know, we're in a renaissance for nuclear energy in the US, for uranium production, enrichment, HALEU, and I think all these stocks in the future are going to do well. And I've been buying them really since 2020 March, that bottom, when we saw massively, you know, low prices, all-time lows for some because the stocks had diluted. But I'm very, very bullish uranium. And if you guys want access to the Discord, like I said, always link in the description below. That's where I'm at this whole week. I don't make videos every single day unless there's just crazy news I got to get out to you all. But in the Discord, everyone can message me. There's been so many really good traders. People have been making a crazy amount of money, how I buy stocks, what I'm buying and when I'm buying it. And that's all in the Discord. So if you want access to that, you want to talk uranium and you want to see a lot of this stuff, like I said, I get a lot of that information first because I've built this specific system. I call it my uranium Bloomberg terminal. So I get all these, you know, things that I have all across the internet, and it'll bring it right in here so you can see it when there's a bill introduced. That's a lot of catalysts sometimes really move stocks. We've seen stocks in, say, lithium when bills were introduced, and, you know, 4 or 5 years ago when I was trading those, sometimes those things would move, you know, 1,000% in a week, some of those lithium stocks. So when we get that type of money moving over to uranium, we're at $35 billion, you know, dollar market cap for 50 plus uranium stocks, the top ones, very, very small. So when money starts to come in here, I think that these stocks are going to do massive runs. And I still will be day trading and swing trading a lot of these. You know, I really am still looking at the overall market as a risk, but I do want to be in uranium long term, and I will continue to do that. So if you guys like these videos, hit the like and subscribe button below, and I'll see you in the Discord.